I gotta be honest with you after watching this one, I think the officer who is involved here should find himself a new profession. Hi friends, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson, Badge Cam here at Active Self-Protection. I hate today's lesson with a driving, blinding passion. I'm your everyday host, John Correa.
I'm your frustrated co-host, Neil Widener. Mike, where's today's thing?
And I'm your third co-host, Mike Williver. Today's video comes to us from Clearfield, Utah.
Today's video is brought to us by Delete Me. Delete Me keeps data brokers from selling your personal information to anybody who wants to market to you, and that privacy is incredibly important. Delete Me helps you protect your data privacy by requiring data brokers to remove your information from the internet. One of the big differences I've noticed since I started using Delete Me in 2024 is that the number of spam phone calls that I get has gone down like 98%. I used to get so many, I get almost none now. Hit the link in the description or scan the QR code or go to joindeleteme.com and use code ASP at checkout for 20% off. That's joindeleteme.com/ASP, code ASP. Officer is out on patrol when he sees a guy being creepy. We have badge cam audio. He's gonna follow this guy for several minutes and then get out of the car and accost him. Let's listen in.
Why are you running? Yeah, kind of weird that you're in the parking lot this late at night.
I'm not doing anything. Just leave me alone.
Okay. Why are you running though?
You're following me. Now get off.
Fed up with what? You don't want to talk?
No.
How come?
Quit following me. Go away.
Okay. Can't cross the road. Can't cross the road like that. What are you doing out here, man?
My part's right here. That's why I'm crossing.
There's not a crosswalk right there.
Other people do it.
Okay. Doesn't mean that you can.
They don't get in trouble, so...
Okay. Well, I saw you crossing the street like that. You have your ID on you?
Yeah.
Where, can I see it?
No, so I'm not doing anything.
Well, I just told you that you crossed the road like that, no crosswalk. It's breaking a crime. So I have a legal right to identify you now. So let me see your ID.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well, no, on the freeway it is. Not down here. I know the law.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. Let me see your ID.
Leave me alone, or I'll be fired. Go away.
Okay, I told you, you're staying right here. You cross the road when there's not a designated crosswalk. Okay? You're walking over from there in the middle of the night. You're doing something weird. Where's your ID?
Listen, I walked over here. So you're following me. I didn't do anything.
You walked from over there in the middle of the night. Empty parking lot, none of those businesses are open. What are you doing?
Walking home
From where?
from the bar.
From where?
From the bar. Some lounge.
Where'd the bus drop you off at?
Chop, chop. Bullshit, but they're not raining.
Okay, where's your ID?
Seriously, I haven't done nothing.
What?
Seriously, I haven't done nothing. I was just walking home. That's all I'm doing.
I getcha.
So leave me alone.
I need to see your ID.
No, you don't.
Yes,
So
I do.
I didn't do anything.
I just told you. Yes, you did. Cross the road without a designated crosswalk. Okay?
No,
So-
that's
so-
only on the freeway.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
There's no crosswalks on a freeway. Okay? So we can keep doing this. You can give me your ID, or I can put you in handcuffs, and then I can figure it out your identification that way. So what is it going to be?
I didn't do anything. I was just walking home. You are following me.
Yeah.
That's why I was walking fast.
Okay. So let me see your ID.
I'm sick of cops doing this to me every time I walk home.
Okay. Are you going to give me your ID or not?
Do you want me to have you fired? I can do that.
Can you?
Yeah?
How?
Call them.
Okay. Give me your ID.
Go away, or I will.
Okay.
Have you fired.
Do you want to go in handcuffs and then I can identify you that way?
I didn't do anything.
I just told you, yes, you did.
I was just walking across the street. That's not doing anything.
Without a designated crosswalk, which you are legally obligated to do.
No, other people do it. They don't get in trouble.
I'm not talking about other people, I'm talking about you right now.
That's not
Charlie
just
27 to
cops.
78, we're going to be out at Pepperidge Apartments.
I'm
Pepperidge
serious
Apartments.
right now. I can have you fired. Go away. I haven't done nothing.
Yes, you did.
You guys always do this to me when I've done nothing. That's harassment.
40's fine. No?
That
You-
is harassment.
you committed a
Go
crime.
away or I'll be fired.
You committed a crime. I have a legal right to identify you. So
Yeah,
either you are going to give me your ID, or I am going to put you in handcuffs, and then I'm going to find your identification anyway. So what is it going to be?
Crime. I haven't done any crime.
No?
No.
Okay, put your hands behind your back then. Okay,
I'm telling you.
put your hands behind your back.
I'm telling you, I haven't done nothing. I haven't done nothing.
Give me your hands.
Ow.
31, can you step it up? We're fighting.
Let me get up and I'll tell you. I'll get up. Let me get up and I'll tell you.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
I haven't done nothing.
Give me
Let
your hand.
Get up.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
I haven't done nothing. What are you doing? It's just walking across. I haven't done nothing. Let me go.
Give me your hand. Hey, Brooks, right here. You can tell him to slow. Give me your hand, man.
I haven't done nothing.
Okay, give me your hand.
I was just walking home. I haven't done nothing.
Okay. Give me your hand. Use your hand, man.
Let me get up and I'll do it. You're gonna break my glasses. You have to get up.
Okay, give us your hand.
Give us your hand.
Let me get up and I'll do it.
No. We're putting you in handcuffs.
I'll do it when you get up.
You haven't identified yourself. Give me your hands.
And it was solid. I haven't done this. You break my glasses out here. Fire.
Yep.
We're doing 82 right now.
I haven't done nothing. What are you doing? It's walking home. I haven't done nothing.
27 and 82 with one now.
Okay. You want medical? Come check out that elbow. You got a scuff pretty bad.
It's your fault. That's why. I haven't done nothing.
Okay. Release your glasses. I'm going to roll you over to your side.
Oh, this is harassment. I can have you guys fired.
Okay. Where's your ID? Is it right here?
I was going to give it to you, but no.
I asked you
You were
multiple.
fighting.
I asked you multiple times. You didn't want to give it to me or
I was
identify
going to
yourself.
give it to you when you let me up. You let me up, I'll give it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna roll you over to your other side. Okay. You have any weapons on you?
No weapon. I don't carry weapons with me.
Okay.
I'm telling you the truth, I haven't done nothing. Why you?
Okay. Can I have you sit up, okay? Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna have you stand up.
You want an ambulance to check you out, man?
Let me put my glasses on, I can't see what's on them.
Here, let me put them on for you. Okay.
You want an ambulance?
Go ahead and stand up.
I haven't. Good.
31.
Stand up.
Can't.
Okay, bend one of your legs. Bend one.
Swear to God, keep breaking my stuff. I'll have you fired.
Okay, bend one of your legs. Can you bend that leg?
No, I can't do it.
Here. Bend
Take
it.
them off, I can get up. I'll
Go ahead and
eat.
stand up. Okay, I'm gonna walk you over to my car, okay?
I haven't done nothing. Why are you
Okay.
doing this to me? I haven't done nothing.
Okay, I already told you.
I was just
Walk over to the
walking
car.
on.
Can you walk?
My stuff's probably in a stone. I'm not gonna have it.
There's 4 other guys right here that'll watch your stuff. Go ahead and take a seat. Take a seat.
Just let me ask you. You really gonna take me to jail?
I'm gonna have you sit down for a second.
Thick steelers have bruises on me.
Jesus Christ.
Does he need medical attention?
He has a scuff on his elbow. I don't know what else he has, but I've already asked him, and he's like, I haven't done anything. So I tried asking him. It's like in the back of the console.
You alright?
No?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Huh?
Why are you sweating so much?
No,
Yeah. Like
I was
his hat was.
running away from you.
Your hat is drenched in sweat. So.
Are you taking anything?
No, I'm just sweat a lot when I walk fast.
Nothing you need to draw, like,
No,
you need to be
I don't
concerned
take
of medically?
drugs. I don't take drugs at all.
Okay. Just hang out here for a second. If anything changes with the injuries, because like I said, you have a pretty big cut on the other arm. I don't know where else you're hurting or anything like that, but I'll try to at least get you evaluated, okay? Sound good? Just give us a few minutes though. So, pulling into parking lot over there. Dark, comes emerging from one of the buildings. Turn my lights on, looks at me, he just starts walking fast. Keep pulling up next to him, get out of my car. He just sprints off over here. See him walk in, turn my lights back on, and I'm kind of like pacing him in my car, asking him like why he's running, everything like that. He's trying to get away from you, leave me alone. It's like, okay. Pull up right here, I see him jaywalk right across the street. Told him, okay, well, you crossed without a designated crosswalk, you have to identify yourself now. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I want you to leave me alone. I was like, well, why are you out here? Exactly. I'm just going home. From where? The bus stop.
He moved from the buildings over there?
No. He has a very odd stack of cash in his back pocket, though.
Wait, he moved from the buildings over there?
Yeah, he was running from the buildings over there.
Okay. So he wasn't walking down the sidewalk?
No, he wasn't just walking down the sidewalk. I saw him in the buildings over there. When I first saw him, he was like emerging from one of the side of the buildings. Sees me, doesn't want to look back. He just kind of keeps speed walking. Get up close to him again. Try getting out of my car to talk to him. That's when he sprints off over here. Catch back up to him. And I see him jaywalk. I was like, okay, well, you have to identify yourself now. I saw you commit a crime. He still doesn't want to. I kept telling him, either you're going to identify yourself or I'm going to put you in handcuffs. I'm going to identify you that way. And he keeps kind of blading off and like trying to like walk away. So figured that his mannerisms were pretty weird, but did see that he was pretty sweaty. So didn't know if he was necessarily like on drugs or I guess he's handicapped. But
I'll go check the building, see if there's any open doors or...
yeah, because he has a pretty odd stack of cash in his back pocket.
What happened over here?
What happened over here? I tried putting him in handcuffs and he kept pulling away, so just kind of kicked his feet out from under him and then got one of his hands. He didn't want to give me his other one.
Alright, well, you alright?
Yeah, I don't think I'm hit anywhere or hurt anywhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I saw he has a cut on his elbow, like his left elbow. It's kind of like a road rasher type of thing. I'm not sure exactly how I got his blood on me, but that's his.
You got some wipes.
Yeah, actually. Did you pick up all of his stuff by chance?
Yeah, it's on the bed.
Okay.
You need a bag for all that stuff, or
Yeah.
I'll go grab the bag.
You and Charlie 27? free of cost. You can deny and everything, but I at least want to make sure that you're okay.
I can
Huh?
just do when I don't have the stuff to clean it. I can
Yeah, you have stuff to clean yourself?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
go.
Okay. So I did have a legal right to identify you.
There's other people who do it.
Okay.
Cops
What-
don't stop them though.
Okay. Like I told you, is that I can't speak for the other hundreds of people that cross the street illegally. Okay. But where you're emerging from these buildings in the middle of the night, it's all black over there. Okay. And
The
then
reason why I was doing it was my apartment's over here.
Hold on.
That's why I was doing it.
Okay, if your apartment's over here, I'm concerned about why you're walking from over there, though, okay?
There's no
So-
crosswalk over here though. I can't do that by the way.
Okay. There's actually a crosswalk right up there. Okay? So you could have...
Down there, but my apartment's down there
Okay,
though.
but... Okay. So
It's
Carl...
right-
Where I'm coming from, you're emerging from a dark business center in the middle of the night. You see me, a police officer, in a car, in a uniform, and you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. But it's just kind of weird that you run away from me, okay? And then when you're walking here on
The
the...
reason I did,
hold on.
you kept following me down there. It's like,
I
I'm
want-
not doing anything.
Because I wanted to talk to you, see what was going on. But like I said, you didn't have to talk to me then. But when you cross the street without a designated crosswalk, I have a legal right to identify you and talk to you then.
Nothing I
Okay,
did. That's
okay,
why I told you
okay.
up there.
Okay?
I did nothing wrong.
So when I told you that you have to identify yourself to me, you have to identify yourself to me. With you continuing to refuse, that's how we ended up in this position. I didn't necessarily want to fight you, but because I'm trying to put handcuffs on you and then you start fighting me, that's why we get to this point, okay? Do you have any questions? Okay. If you would like to talk to a supervisor, we have one present. Is that something that you would want?
I know.
Okay.
Talk to your boss.
Well, he's right here. Want to talk to him?
Yeah, if you take me cuffs off, I can get out.
What are you diagnosed with?
I haven't done nothing. I was just walking home and he started following me down there. Probably shoot.
Yeah, I'm just, but
Done nothing.
before we talk about that though, like, so you show on
Lima
our
19, 1056
system you suffer from some
So
issue, like are you
far.
diagnosed with anything? Like,
No, I just have a hard time talking. Nothing else.
you know, mental health illness, physical illness, just a
No,
speech
I don't.
impediment.
Yeah, just me. Speech. I don't do drugs at all. Obviously.
So you don't have any forms of handicap or health issues? No?
You know, just have a time talking sometimes.
Where are you hurt at?
Just a little.
Are you hurt anywhere else? Alright. Can you lean up for me real quick? Just want to make sure you're not injured anywhere else. Oh, do you have a flashlight?
Handcuffs are hanging my wrist.
Scoot up a little bit further.
Take them off. They're ready.
Well, probably not. We're not going to take them off right now. Okay. Are they too tight?
Yeah.
We can loosen them.
Why don't you step out here for just a second? Do you live here by yourself?
Yeah, I live by myself. It's just up there.
Okay.
Hamilton, can you give me a light?
Charlie 36 for Temple.
citizen here, whose name is Sean Nicholas and is a Special Olympics medalist, originally wasn't even charged with jaywalking. He was charged with resisting a peace officer, though that charge was later dropped. The chief of police of Salt Lake City said this absolutely should be a fireable offense, but the chief of police of Clearfield, Utah, where it happened, said that this use of force was completely within policy and this officer continues in his job. Hey, we're not going to get to do these with all three of us very often, but we had this opportunity. And Neil, this one hits pretty close to home.
This strikes right in my heart, and I am really glad that we didn't do a first watch for this, because we wouldn't have been able to air it, because I was saying lots of really, really inappropriate things.
Yeah. If you've been around active self-protection a while, Neil's son is a very, very good friend of mine and could be this guy. I mean, it's really a one-to-one correlation, and let's talk about it. In analysis, at the end of the day, we're going to talk through some of the issues here, but we're just going to talk about this as friends and as analysts, because if I watch that again, I'm going to start saying mean words.
I watched this for the first time a little over a week ago. I was really, really frustrated by it, simply because this is my life. I saw Cody in this and saw how law enforcement might interact with my son, and how this guy didn't recognize from the first sentence that he was dealing with somebody that had some sort of mental issue, is beyond me. I have my own theories, but they're not very professional ones, so I'll just leave that alone.
And Mike, you've got a nephew who's got high special needs too, and this could very well be a similar thing.
Well, unlike Neil, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to speak my piece here, because Neil brought this to our attention and we just watched it. I just watched it for the first time, and I'm a little shaken. I got to be honest with you. Here's the truth you're not going to hear from a lot of cops or ex-cops. There are officers, there are deputies, probably in every department, who everyone knows are heavy-handed, who everyone knows comes in way too hot unnecessarily all the frickin' time. We got to get rid of these people. We have to get rid of them, because they're going to do stuff like this. My poor sister-in-law lives in literal fear, in terror of this happening to her son. And what am I supposed to tell her? No, the cops are professional. This won't happen. They'll be fine. They'll recognize these special needs and they'll handle it appropriately. Fortunately, I called around to every agency in the valley here in Phoenix and asked them, what do you have training for this sort of thing? And they do. There's a nonprofit that does all this great training all around Phoenix, all these agencies, and says, here's how you recognize autism or somebody on the spectrum, and here's how you deal with them differently. Here's the behaviors they might exhibit that you might think are threatening or whatever, but you need to be able to analyze their behavior and go, okay, this is not a drunk leaving the bar. This is not, a completely insane person. This is a person with special needs, and I need to handle this differently. I need to not come in hot. I need to not ask questions like, what were you doing over there? Look, I've met cops like this, and I'm not speaking about this individual officer, but the ones that I know, who this guy reminds me a lot of, are this way all day, every day. They're hyper officious. They're heavy-handed. They come in and they want to be in charge of stuff. They want to, how dare you defy me? I told you this. I told you that. Listen, this is a nonsense stop from the jump. This guy's not a problem, right? He wasn't running around breaking windows. He wasn't hitting people. He crossed at a crosswalk, which, as it turns out,
he wasn't even jaywalking.
Yeah, turns out it wasn't even jaywalking. So this whole stop is nonsense from the beginning. And this, look, if you're in law enforcement, if this doesn't completely piss you off, you're missing something. This should upset you. You should want this sort of person out of here, out of the department, out of law enforcement. Go do something else, because this is not for you. Giving you authority has exposed to the world your true nature, and that nature is not great, and it's not suited for this job.
So, officers, rule number one, you must know that the stop that you are initiating is lawful. And this one was not. There was no crime being committed here. Now, you might go, well, he was jaywalking. No. In Utah, if the street does not have a stoplight at each end of it, it's not jaywalking to use the middle of the street to cross.
And you should know that if you're out there in uniform.
And if you're out there in uniform, you should know that. So the fact of the matter is, you could say, well, I had reasonable articulable suspicion that there was crime afoot. Reasonable articulable suspicion is all well and good, but it's not reason to initiate a detention. You can't stop somebody because you think crime might be afoot.
Sorry.
Go.
You don't get to make it up. You don't make up reasonable articulable suspicion.
Right.
He made up the jaywalking thing. That was his reason for initiating a stop of a guy that he followed for minutes, several minutes, because he walked across the parking lot of a mini mall kind of thing. So he made it up and initiated an illegal stop.
Yeah. And so that makes this whole thing. So you might go, well, yeah, that was wrong. No, then everything from there is the fruit of the poison tree. Everything from there is wrong. You are wrong like a football bat, okay? Like a $3 bill.
I want to go back on something I said earlier. You know, the training is all well and good, right? It's important. Every agency should get training in recognizing people on the spectrum, recognizing, you know, behaviors and that sort of thing. However, it doesn't take an expert, it doesn't take any training. The minute that young man opened his mouth, right, and started to speak, everyone knew that he was probably on the spectrum somewhere, and that should immediately cause you to make a hard right turn and go, oh, okay, hold on, wait a minute. You know, I'm obviously not dealing with a criminal here. Let me see what I can do to help this young man. Maybe he needs a ride home. Like the rest of this was just such nonsense after that. And the fact that he had zero sort of awareness of who he was dealing with, and then continued to sort of up the ante and get more and more spun up with the guy, and then going hands-on is a mystery to me. And I look, 99% of cops that I know, unfortunately, it's not 100%. 99% of the cops that I know would absolutely give this guy a F- for everything that happened, including the initial stop.
And listen, when you recognize that, it felt to me like when I watched this the first time that he got caught in a loop of I'm in charge. So he came in badge heavy, right? And okay, muff me for a second, okay? So if bad words hurt your feelings, just muff me a second. And I know some people get all kinds of mad about me. Yes, I was a vocational pastor for 14 years. The Bible uses bad words at times to deal with me. He just came in and put his dick on the table and then couldn't reel it back in. You gotta know, if he comes in and he goes, okay, I'm initiating a stop. Wait a minute, I'm dealing with a guy who's on the spectrum here. I'm dealing with a special needs individual. I gotta just reel it back in. And then recognize, okay, wait a minute, what am I initiating a problem with this guy? This guy's like, hey man, I don't, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you just gotta go, at most, we had a jaywalking infraction. This isn't even a crime. It's a civil infraction. And I'm out here fighting crime, looking for bad guys. This ain't it.
Yeah, when I say on the badge cams, which other badge cams where the cops are going hard, going after bad guys, and you know, I say it all the time. I say it on the badge cams, I say it on the podcast. That's what I want my police doing, right? I want them out there hunting for criminals, bad guys that are making society a less safe place. And I'm gonna sound like a little repetitive here, but as I said earlier, the minute this young man opened his mouth, he should have been like, "Oh, okay, never mind." You know, that should have been honestly the end of it. All right, man. Hey, you need a ride home? Can I help get you home? If you've been drinking a little bit, if you're not okay to walk, I'll give you a ride. I'll call you a cab. I'll call you an Uber. Anything but what ensued after the initial contact.
I read a bunch of the stories that were with this because I was pretty fired up for several days over this, but this isn't the first time it's happened to him either.
Yeah, so we're in a city, victim.
Yeah, we're in a city of 34,000 people, which isn't a huge city by any stretch of the imagination. There's less than 40 cops on the whole department. Right. How do they not know who their citizens are? This is a weekly occurrence. This guy goes and sings karaoke with a bunch of military vets every week. How did he not know? First off, and then how do you ignore all of this stuff? If I can, and I will indulge myself because I'm pretty frustrated over this, is I think that this officer followed him for what, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes?
Yeah, a long time.
And that entire time he spun himself up more and more and more and looked for a reason and then made it up of why I'm going to stop this guy. And then for whatever reason, couldn't let go of the fact that this guy didn't want to give him his ID for not doing anything wrong. And I hear it all the time from, you know, a lot of like the First Amendment auditors is, you know, that ID is like crack cocaine to some cops. And that's what I saw here is this cop was 100% badge heavy. He was going to be in charge. And by God, you're going to follow my rules or I'm throwing you to the ground, slamming your face into it, putting the handcuffs on it. And then I'm going to make up some more BS when my sergeant shows up.
Yeah. And then the sergeant shows up and couldn't recognize, again, like, okay, wait a minute. What are you dealing with here, dude? Like, and I get it. The sergeant hadn't watched his badge cam, right? Hadn't seen all that stuff. I don't want to give the sergeant too much trash, but again, then looking at this guy and going, dude, what is going on here? Right. Like, this is clearly a special needs adult. Why are you roughing this guy up? And why did you decide to do all that? So again, we might go back and we can make an argument. Well, the officer was detaining him, you know, and he refused to provide. No, but the entire thing is a fruit of the poison tree because he didn't have a lawful reason to stop him. And so this is the crap that makes the profession of law enforcement look like trash.
Can I just add, I've been doing this with John and Neil now for coming up in 3.5 years, something like that. And I have noticed, I have to point it out, I've noticed a marked decline in the quality of law enforcement officers, the ones that we're seeing. A lot of these guys, it appears, I don't know if they lowered standards, I don't know if they got rid of the psych eval or the polygraph or insufficient training, but this is a problem. We need to be funding our law enforcement and giving them the tools that they need. One of those tools is training in things like recognizing mental illness, recognizing autism, that sort of thing. I promise you two, every cop that I know watching that video is at least half as angry as you are. No one's as angry as Neil is because it cuts really close to home for him. This is not okay. And look, if you have one of these guys on your squad, you have one of these heavy-handed, power-hungry jerks on your squad, you need to do something about it. You need to start making some noise because, listen, every time one of these videos comes out, it puts at risk every other cop. Look, if a video comes out where an officer is disarming someone and shoots them in the leg, if a video comes out where a clearly autistic adult, young adult, is being accosted by this cop and treated poorly, how am I supposed to defend law enforcement? How am I supposed to say, no, most cops are good when there's so much evidence like this out there? We've got to do better. This is really frustrating for me, and it hurts my heart.
So a couple of things that I will add to that, Mike, is that one, we need to get these guys training and gals training. Absolutely, we need to get the training. However, I've sat through enough law enforcement training that when you're the officer in the training, pay attention. I've sat through so many classes where officers are sitting there reading books or playing on their phone or just absolutely not even in the room. And I'm there as a private citizen trying to learn and say, hey, here, what are our officers doing to get training? This is great training. And then I look around the room and it's a bunch of government employees not paying attention. And I don't get why that's okay. So just having the training available, a lot of this training is available. CIT training is available. And that guy probably went through it, and yet he completely and utterly missed it. And then when we start talking about other things, if we follow that video long enough, and we don't have to go completely into it, but at some point, while he's talking to his sergeant, they put their hand over the thing, his badge cam, and mute it for like 90 seconds. What was that conversation, and why is that private?
That's not cool at all.
It's an egregious violation. I'm going to say where I think some of the problems here are too. John's going to put his speculation hat on a minute. Okay?
I'm going to take some deep breaths.
Deep breaths, you are. It's okay, buddy. I love it. I'm going to put my speculation hat on here, but I've seen this a bunch. Okay? If this guy's been a problem, everybody knows it. I know of several instances where higher ups have, no, we know that guy's a problem. But you got to understand, we have this long drawn out process because he's a union employee.
Yep.
And if you are the head or involved in your local police officers union because that's part of your job, this should never be used to excuse bad behavior. And I know some, especially in large departments, well, we got to protect the dirt bags because if we give an inch to management, then we get kicked under the bus on marginal stuff. Nah, man, you got to look at this and go, no. That is way outside the bounds, and we should not just throw the book at that guy. We should make sure it hits him square in the forehead.
Yeah.
And if we're unwilling to do that, then what we get is we get the erosion of trust of our communities, and we get these kinds of problems. So I am not one. I say this all the time. I'm all for qualified immunity. I wouldn't do the job of law enforcement. I don't do the job of law enforcement, but I wouldn't do it without qualified immunity. But what he did here, he acted outside of the lawful stop. So he wasn't acting within the bounds of law enforcement. So in this kind of case, he should be, in doing what he did, personally liable for that. And I think this is the kind of guy who should get fired. This is the kind of stuff you look at this and you go, wait a minute, you took a Special Olympics medalist, ignored clearly for any human being who watched that, saw that he was special needs the minute he opened his mouth, and you decided instead to throw him on the ground and hurt him and arrest him that night. And that to me goes, dude, go be a dog catcher.
And the rest of your team backed you up. Nobody had the guts to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong.
Hey, this is not okay.
Even the chief.
After watching
and I get it. I literally sat across the table in hundreds of meetings with the union from the management side. I've done this.
Not
that
police
job.
unions,
not
but
the
other
police
stuff,
union,
yeah.
but I've worked in union environments from the management perspective. And it isn't that management wants to get an inch so that we can take a mile. It's that management wants to hold people accountable so that the good people can be, lifted up and awarded for things.
So this is training, okay? So normally we do use of force training to say, hey, wait a minute, live through the gunfight, do the right things. And here, this is an egregious misuse of force. And making the right decision and doing things in the right way matters to us. So just like I said in the previous video that we did of the officer every officer needs to know how to take a gun off of somebody, every officer needs to know when to dial back their ego. Every officer needs to say, wait a minute, why am I pursuing this so hard? And when is it time to turn the dial way down and go, you know what, sir, have a nice night. And not end up with stuff like this. Now, if you go look, at least when I watched this video the first time out of Clearfield, Utah, it had a grand whopping 2,400 views on it. And why do they get away with stuff like this? Because nobody pays attention to it. I think we should pay attention to this. I hope every patrol sergeant who watches this is showing it to their cops. I hope it comes with a stern warning that says, I expect every one of you men and women to do better than this. And if I catch you doing this, I'm going to hang you out to dry. And I hope every officer that watches this and goes, man, if that was my partner, he's going to catch it from me. Mm-hmm. And I would never be like that. And that's the way I think we get better. Because, listen, this is personal to me too, because, your son is a good buddy of mine. Yeah. Like, he calls me all the time and harasses me and wants to smoke cigars with me. And is the only one so far in 7 years of doing the Active Self-Protection National Conference who has ever punched me in the nuts at the National Conference. Your nephew is a fine and wonderful human being. And this is the kind of stuff that can happen to him too. We must do better.
Could I add one more thing?
Yeah, you get the closing arguments.
Set aside the special needs aspect of this for a moment. And if you are a law enforcement officer, you raised your hand and you swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to serve your community. Don't go in hot like this. Don't be that guy. If you find that guy and he's being a jerk, call him out. First time, call him out personally and go, hey man, knock it off. And the next time, talk to whoever you got to talk to. Remember who you serve. You are a public servant, all right? You don't lord your authority over people unnecessarily. You go to work every day and you're like, how can I make my community a better place? And if you do that consistently, we'll start to rebuild the trust we're beginning to lose in law enforcement and cover our ass.